Morning, guys. Alright, so it is another day, probably been a couple of days actually, and it has snowed and rained. Can't see any frost on the ground, but it got cold last night and got frosty. Anyway, so I was thinking about the situation with the ABS ring and the hub, trying to figure out what to do, and it dawned on me that all I really need to do is have that hub machined down to fit that ring instead of having the ring machined out to fit the hub. As long as there's enough meat on the hub to do that, that is. So I've got a machinist down the road from me that has done a thing or two for me in the past and is real good and easy to work with. So I think I'm going to call him today if I can find his number and talk to him about this situation and see if we can get this hub right here turned down just enough to fit the inner diameter of the ring, and see what he thinks about that, see if he has any ideas. So I need to take the hub off of here so I can take it to the shop. Also, I need to think about this mounting pad for the ABS sensor, which is right here. I still have no guarantee that this sensor is going to do the job. It's just one I picked up for a Nissan that seemed to be about the right dimensions, and holding it up here on the mounting pad as best as I can, it does seem to be a pretty good depth, I would say. But it looks like if the ring gear was pressed on there, this sensor would be trying to read off the side of itself to the teeth of the ring gear, which I guess is fine. I would have thought maybe it needed to read off the tip of the sensor, but maybe it can read off of its edge, and the teeth can just pass by its edge. I'm not really sure how that works or how critical all that stuff is, and I also don't know the outer diameter of that ring gear and whether it's going to line up and play nicely with where this sensor ends up being once I drill the hole and slide it in. So I got a lot of unknowns here, a lot of question marks, so I just need to take things apart, start looking at stuff, and get with the machine shop and see if he's got any good ideas. Basically take everything to him and run it by him and see what he thinks. There is a possibility he will say, hey, let's mount this in here, let it live where it wants to live, and then I will build you a ABS ring that fits your application perfectly. He may say something like that, which is totally cool with me if he wants to do that. So anyway, we got some options. So today I'm going to work on getting this apart and getting with him, and we'll go from there. Okay, update time. So I got the suspension taken apart, got everything out here on the bench. I actually did this last night, and I started having a look at everything and measuring and checking, and everything looks really good. I think the plan is going to work, so I went ahead and drilled a pilot hole right here in the center of this pad. This is the ABS sensor pad. If this car would have had ABS, it would have been drilled out already. So I wanted to drill a pilot hole there so I could stick something down through it and see how we lined up. So this bolt here, intake manifold bolt for an LS, happens to just fit right through there perfect. So now we can use that as a guide to tell me where the tip of this sensor will end up once this hole is fully drilled through. So it's going to end up right here. And I think that looks pretty good in terms of, like, is the tip of that sensor going to line up with these teeth whenever that's pressed on there? Of course, I'm not using this one. Actually, I forgot. I need to update you on this situation as well. I posted up on the Facebook group that I'm in, which is Boosted LSX, and a couple of people responded there and were super helpful and gave me some really good tips. In fact, I'm going to show you that right now. So I posted up this quick video on Boosted. There's a ton of people in the Boosted LSX Facebook group, and so I always get a lot of answers to my questions there. And the question was, how do I find a ring like this that'll fit onto my hub without any machining? And I got a lot of help here, or a little help, but the little help I got was really helpful. I want to give a big shout out to Zeke S here for giving me the real big tip, which was go to Dorman's website, and Dorman actually lists these rings by inside diameter, so that worked out perfect. I actually found the right ring on the first page of search results there on the Dorman site. The very third one they list ended up having the inner diameter that I needed, or very, very close to it. So I just went to Amazon and ordered a new ring, and it was not very expensive. I think it was $18 shipped, And then shout out to Alex here. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Alex Kadau maybe. He's got this all figured out already, and he's even running an S13, and it turns out he is running the very ring that I found on Dorman as a result of this guy's tip. So I found the ring I wanted on Dorman, and then come to find out Alex posted, and he had already figured this all out years ago and had stumbled upon the same ring and bought it, installed it a long time ago, and so he made a post here about that. And so thank you, Alex, and thank you, Zeke, for your help on that. I appreciate it, guys. So got a new ring coming, and should be here hopefully, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, can't remember. But the new ring has a better diameter that's going to be a real close fit for this. So my next question was, well, okay, inside diameter is probably handled. What about outside diameter? Is the outside diameter where the teeth are? Is it going to be in line with where the tip of the sensor is? Or is it going to be way out here? Or is it going to be way in here? And the truth is, I don't exactly know just yet until it gets here. But with the pilot hole here drilled and this down in here, I can see that that's where the tip of the sensor is going to be. And then I can take some measurements here and figure out how wide the ring needs to be on the outside measurement to basically not hit the tip of the sensor. So I think I will do that right now, and I'll see what measurement I get. Okay, so using the caliper here and measuring the outside diameter of the thick part of the hub here, I'm coming up with about a 3.6 inch measurement. And 3.6 inches would be what I would want the outside diameter of the new ring to measure. And as you can see here, the old ring is definitely small. So we're hoping that the new ring has something like a 3.6 outer diameter. And to be honest, I don't know what it is. I didn't check it when I ordered it. I just ordered it based on inner diameter, and I figured I would deal with whatever I got when it got here. So let's go check on the website and see what the outer diameter of the ring is that I ordered, so we can have a heads up as to what's coming in the mail and whether it's going to work for us or not. So here we are on Dorman's website, and this is the actual ring that I purchased. Right here, it's made for a Toyota. They used it from 1990 all the way up to 2003, it looks like. And scrolling down on the site, eventually down here they give you all the specs. So here's the inner diameter, 3.15. On my car I was measuring 3.17, so super close. And then they list the outer diameter right here, which is 3.51. And I just measured a kind of an ideal outer diameter for our situation was going to be 3.6. So it's also super close there, about a tenth or so difference. So it looks to me, guys, like we're really close to dimensions inside and outside that are going to work out for this. We'll never know until we get the parts here and put it all together and see how the clearances are, but so far it's looking like we got a winner. Okay, so the next step for me here is to go ahead and drill out this hole and get it to the final diameter for the sensor here to fit down in. So it's supposed to go down through that hole just like that. So I've got to drill that pilot hole out to the diameter of the sensor. I went ahead and measured it with my calipers, and it came out to match up perfectly, or as perfectly as I could ever hope, to a 45/64 drill bit, which I just happen to have. And I think I've only used it one time. Can't remember even what I bought it for, but just happened. Okay guys, so just want to update you on where things are here. I've got the spindle kind of chucked up here in the drill press, and I have drilled it out several sizes and got it bigger and bigger and bigger, and then my final drill bit was to be this here 45/64, and that was going to be my final size. And it turns out this sucker is messed up. I don't know if you can see, but the shoulder right here is completely gone. It's been chipped off or something. I have no idea how or when that happened, but it will not drill. No matter what I do, that sucker just will not drill any farther than that. It's doing nothing but making a bunch of heat, which is really unfortunate because this was the perfect drill bit size, and it's almost never been used. In fact, I don't even think I bought this. I think my brother bought this to drill a hole in his Miata oil pan for the oil return off his turbo when we were turbocharging it this summer. And I think he had to buy this because this was the size he needed, and he just left it here and let me have it. which was nice of him, but anyway, it doesn't work. So I had to go to Amazon and order one today. It'll be here in a couple of days, and then I can finish the hole. Couldn't find that drill bit anywhere locally or anything quite like it, so I just had to order it. So that's a bummer, but that's just kind of the way it goes. Things get broken, I guess. So new drill bits on the way, and I'll be able to finish that up. Good news though is my tone ring came in, my ABS reluctor ring. Made it in today, or made it in yesterday, and then put it in the mailbox, and it sat there for a day until we figured out that it was in the mailbox, and now I've got it here. So here is the tone ring, and the good news is it seems to fit on here really good. It's not perfect, but you can see that it more or less just wants to slide right on there, and it basically feels about like a press fit, or that it just needs a little bit filed off of it for it to be a press fit. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to take. Also, it's got a little shoulder on it, or a ridge, or whatever you want to call that, machined into it. So I don't know if that's going to affect us any. I don't really think it will. But that needs to slide on here and press down tight, and it's almost a perfect fit. So I'm super stoked about that. So it looks like that was a good move. I just need to probably sand it a little bit on the insides. I think it's, oh, I was going to say it's aluminum. No, it's definitely not aluminum. It's steel. It needs to be steel in order for it to be read by the magnet here. So yeah, I think I'm going to need to sand off a little bit on the inside, figure out how to some way machine it just ever so slightly larger. Or it might just press on there, just as it is. It feels like it's sitting on there really nice and square. It might just need to be tapped on or pressed on. So anyway, things are looking good here. Just need to get that guy down a little bit and get that hole over there drilled in the spindle for this to slide down through, and we'll be well on our way. And I will update you on that as soon as I get a little farther along. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for part 2 of the traction control video here. Stick with me, and I'll have part 3 up here in just a couple of days. I appreciate you guys watching, and as always, if you have any questions, ask down below, and give me a like and subscribe if you're into what I'm doing here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.